applause. Hey, Amy.
Hey.
It's a Wednesday and we're here.
I know, and I'm in a weird room.
I know. I was like, who is Spock in the background? Like, that's weirding me out that Spock is like glaring at us.
He is so full of cookies. He is in a bad mood.
And we're here with Seann McAnally,
McAnally.
I apologize. Right. Which I think, because I did such a rushed job on the thumbnail before we got in here, I have misspelled your first name. I think I probably spelled it Shean.
Shean.
I mean Sean.
Yeah, I'm a 2N Sean. Yeah.
All right, viewers that are watching this pre-record, you are in for some crazy, I think, because it has been that kind of pre-show. Angela's already got a typo. It's going to haunt me the entire show. I'm going to be thinking, there were 2 N's?
Yeah. Oh, boy.
All right, well, we're here. I think everybody already knows you, Amy. I mean, it feels silly to be asking you about yourself, but tell me about yourself, guys.
I tell everything. Tell you about myself. Wow.
Who are you? I've never actually asked that.
Yeah, I know. I don't know how to. I'm a person, and sometimes I write songs, and sometimes I write poems. Got a cat. Got a family and a house with a kitchen and too many coffee mugs.
And Spock.
The cookie jar. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's about it. Worked
How
at the
about
library
you, Sean?
today for 5 hours. Yeah.
True confessions.
Or a freaking ridiculous figure. I know.
Oh, Sean, are you also human?
I'm a human. Yes. Last time I checked, that's what they've told me.
Darn, I was thinking this was going to be that groundbreaking show.
The moment.
The day we finally find proof of, no. Yeah, I'm Seann McAnally, and I am a songwriter, a musician, and a gamer, and nerd, and not necessarily in that order all the time. And I went to high school with Amy, but we didn't know each other.
I knew his sister. Yeah.
Yeah. But now we know each other.
Now we know each other.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
So that was high school in Missouri.
Independence, Missouri.
Independence.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Sweet home Independence.
That's where we are, Angela. It misses you.
I actually do miss it as well.
Yeah.
I mean, I do hope that we get our visas done soon so I can come back and visit.
Nice.
But, well, tell me, I mean, this is something I'm curious about. How has, you guys didn't know each other before, but you probably had impressions of each other, that nerd or, blah, 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 or she's so mean all the time. That would be Amy, right?
I was kind of a bitch. No, I wasn't. I was very annoying and laughing all the time like I do now, just more so.
Yeah, I was going to say, what has changed about you laughing? I mean,
No, I don't know. I probably am a little more like I can handle it a little better and don't just lose control. Yeah. Yeah. So what's your question again?
My question is, do you guys see each other differently now as adults? Like, are you still oh, he's a nerd and she's mean all the time, or have your impressions changed?
Okay. He had no impression of me as my guess.
I knew kind of who she was, but I'm 2 years older, and
She's one of those kids. Ugh.
We were different socially. She was very good, and I wasn't bad, but we didn't run in the same circles. Let me put it that way. So I was aware of her presence, but we would not have been naturally the type of people who hung out. And you might not have been allowed to hang out with me anyway.
It depends. Yeah, I might not have been.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I wasn't a bad boy, but a lot of my friends were, because I was in bands. And for some reason, most of the guys who were in bands were outside smoking cigarettes outside the high school with their Aussie T-shirts. And yeah. Mm-hmm. And so I was really more of a Marty McFly type. But I got lumped in with a lot of fans of the Misfits or, that type of thing, which, so yeah, I don't think we would have hung out too much back then. I'm surprised we didn't, run into each other through band more, but there were like
we were in band,
112 kids in that band.
Were
so I mean, there were a lot.
There were a lot of kids.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And we didn't play the same instrument.
Yeah.
No
instrument, and then like he's out there with the smoking bad kid.
Which I would have been like, well, okay, well, I'll say what my impressions of Seann were back in the 80s and 90s was that one time when I was in 8th grade, I went to a band concert because I was in the band, and it was a band concert that we shared with the high school, right? The high school band as well. And my sister that year was a freshman in high school, and she's just pointing out the cute older boys to me, right? And so like Seann was one of them, and I was like, oh, look at that guy. Oh, look at the guy. Oh, look at him. He was like the more. So I was very aware of him. I was aware of a lot of boys, like, but so that was my impression. So yeah.
Apparently she liked my mullet.
I don't remember it being a mullet. He had like really good hair. That's what I remember, because there was a lot of it, and it was an interesting color, I think. I don't know, what color was your hair back then?
I used to put sun in my hair.
Oh my God. I remember sun in.
It worked. It worked, man.
But I had like short bangs because my mom wouldn't let me grow it long in front. So I had like long and back, short in front, like Joe Elliott of Def Leppard, or even worse, the guy from Great White. So
he told me that the other night, and I was like, your mom Seann McAnally's mom wouldn't let him, because like nobody owned Seann McAnally. His mom wouldn't let him have his hair. That's outrageous.
Oh my goodness. I'm still laughing over like remembering sun in and
stock that at Hy-Vee, whatever.
Yeah. You go out, you spray all of it in the bottle in your hair, and then you go stand out in the sun for 20 minutes. You come back in the bathroom and you're like,
I never did it.
I don't see it yet.
So did it work for both of you people? Did you do it, Angela?
I don't remember, because then I went black. Then everything had to be black in my life. So
That's right. I never used it. Yeah, I was happy with dark hair.
Oh, that's too funny. Well, all right. So what are you guys doing now? I know you guys play music. You both are musicians. I know Amy's music really well because it's the very sparkling and vivacious music that I see on Instagram all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I've managed to con her into making a Cake and Hyperbole theme song at one point. It's still actually on this channel. I have never taken it off because I love it so much. So we may have an intro. You know what? We're going to close on that because I actually don't really have a video to close on. I'm closing on Cake and Hyperbole.
It's the reprise. That's great.
Mm-hmm.
That's great. Yeah, that song, because like I have a YouTube channel, a little tiny YouTube channel with like 26 followers, and there are a few songs that I've put on there, like on the harp or the farfisa, and like the Cake and Hyperbole theme got like 500 views or something. Because I'm gonna say because of you, and I don't know, maybe Ryan like put my name out there with that gaming song thing or something. I don't know.
It's just a really good song too. I'm actually adding it to my notes for when you people are watching this on Wednesday, because this is actually Saturday for us.
Yeah.
That link to Amy's channel is in the description, and you should go join it right now.
Explode.
Can explode.
My moment is coming.
10 people are coming.
Right. Yay. That will be the biggest growth ever.
All right. What about you, Seann? What's your music like? Because I've never heard your music.
Well,
not to put you on the spot.
I'm involved in several different musical projects, but probably the one that's mostly me is my rock and roll name is Johnny Pharaoh. So I don't record under Seann McAnally because it's a mouthful. And if you stare at that last name long enough, it's kind of funny. So
I never thought of that.
So, but Johnny Pharaoh, I do a lot of what I call power pop, which is, I'm very influenced by Cheap Trick and the Cars and the power pop of that generation. So, loud, crunchy guitars, but melodic. And that's what I do as Johnny Pharaoh. And then I'm in a band called The Fur and the Fang, which you could probably best call punk grass or alt folk. And I have a ambient experimental band called 6DB. That stands for Six Demon Bag. It's a Big Trouble in Little China reference, but we just go by 6DB. I do that with a friend of mine, a poet and artist named Scott Chafin. And we've actually collaborated on some poetry recordings too before, where he reads his poetry and the Johnny Barrow Starlight Orchestra does the music. And
that's awesome. I want to do that.
Yeah, we're going to do something like that. And
that's
then
cool.
My friend Melissa Cat and I have a band called The Rough Touch, which is sort of a proto-metal Stooges style hard rock band. And what else do I do? And
we're writing a rock opera.
And the reason what we're doing together,
right? So we're doing tonight.
We're writing a rock opera. We're going to be working on later. And then I also do a lot of role-playing game books that I write and sell. And let's see, I think
he wrote a book called, what was it? Like The Assholes of History.
Or no, the I've written.
Sorry.
Yeah, on Amazon you can find Jackasses of History and more Jackasses of History. And those have paid a few electric bills.
He's made money on them.
So, well, you got to get in the right algorithm. And
got the Jackasses.
Yeah, you got the Jackasses and the history. You put it together. Once you sell a few, you start getting in those. You might also like.
That's cool.
Jackass History 2, Jackass History 3.
Yeah. So I stay very busy creatively, because then I won't sit at home and chew my own arm off or go insane.
Yeah, I think that's what we're all doing.
Noble goals there. I'm actually wondering, did I just buy a book from you? Did you share his RPG? Is that who I bought the RPG?
The game, the Beat game, right?
The Beat game.
Yeah, it's my British Invasion game. Yeah.
I have that. I bought that. Great deal at $1. Well, I mean, it was kind of like a no-brainer, beating a thing on $1. Okay.
For a British Invasion adventure.
Well, I made $8.80 on that one so far. So thank you for your part in all that.
I'm glad people are out there buying a British Invasion
down below as well. But okay, so that's a lot to unwrap for me right now. I'm going like, wait, there's so many questions I want to ask here. I'm going to go with the rock opera. So tell me about this rock opera you guys are doing.
Okay, so I don't know how you knew I did something about the Moors. Okay, so you know how when you do a poetry show or a podcast or whatever, and you do it, and I am always like contacting other podcasts that I like and going, oh, I loved it when you guys did this. They're like, oh, we did that like 6 weeks ago. I don't remember, and stuff like that. They're like, oh, thank you for reminding us of what we did. So he did that sort of, I don't know if it was on a poetry thing or if it was on a podcast, but he remembered me mentioning the girls, like the Gothic heroine running across the moors and flailing or whateher. And so he's like, let's write a rock opera about that, because we knew we wanted to collaborate on something, because we seem to have a lot of similar vibes and veins and whatnot. And so that's where we've been looking, and we were brainstorming from 40 and Times had an article about it. That's most of my information, but reading Rebecca and Wuthering Heights and stuff. And he's like, that looks like my grandma's bookshelf. All these, I'm like, oh my gosh, I love the idea of your grandma. I was like, I just got to read these Gothic heroine mysteries. It's perfect. So I don't know. We've just been working on it and doing little segments here and there. I wrote a segment at the library today. I don't know how it's going to be, because it's dead on the desk 1 hour. And I was like, okay, I'm just going to write down. Actually, I think it was the busy hour that I wrote. So I don't know what it's going to look like, but we'll see what we got. It's going to be a challenge to put together the stuff she's written with the ideas I've had, because hers all sound like her. Yeah. And all mine sound like Meatloaf songs. So we'll have to find the common ground between those two. Yeah. But we've worked out the story, so we know what we're supposed to be writing songs about. Mm-hmm. And when we say rock opera, we probably mean a mini. Yeah, rock, a 10-minute song with different movements. Like that song by The Who. Quick. Yeah. So that's what we're going to be working on. And it's going to be, I think, kind of spooky and colossal. And exactly. I think it could work blending the styles. When I worked at the college radio station, I did a show on Friday nights with this guy named Todd Price, who was all tattooed up, and he was just this little guy who'd been in prison and this and that. So we're like, this is what we have to do. We have to take turns playing songs. We had a certain amount of format that we had to play. It was college radio, but then it was like, I'm going to play an Amy song and then you play a Todd song. People flipping loved it, because he was playing the Misfits and I was playing Rosemary Clooney and all this stuff. So we really had a good time. We agreed on a band called Polka Side, if you can imagine. So that was pretty great.
Oh, that's awesome. I actually think the different styles complement, you know, like all the time with artists, because if you get too much of one thing, it's just too much. It's nice to see how it contrasts and works together.
Yeah. I'm really sad now that Rosemary Clooney never did collaborate with Glenn Danzig in any way. That would have been something.
That is, she would have too. She was on ER, you know, because of her nephew and stuff. Yeah, that is sad. Tragic. Well, we'll have to make up for that in our rock opera.
Yeah, which could take a while because we don't get a lot of time to work together. We're both real busy, and so we squeak it out.
Well, you're over here writing everything, and Amy's doing 1 million podcasts and shows.
I know. I don't even know what my next one's going to be about. Oh boy, so we'll see. I'm trying to get people to send me their dreams, and then I can just put a bunch of recordings in with this song I wrote about my rattlesnake dream. Yeah, don't forget.
I am going to send you my dream. I have a dream about a demon entering my ear. That's going to be sent to you.
Yes, thank you. That's oh my gosh.
So yeah, it was a dream that I wrote. I woke up screaming, woke up my husband. So yes, this is my dream for you. Do you guys? I don't want to put you on the spot or anything, but can you play music for us?
Do you want us to do that like right now? On this?
If
we were talking about it, we only have our one song that we've done together, and I haven't played it in a while, and
we're not confident.
We're not, but we could do separate songs if you want, like songs that we do on our own. Okay.
Yeah, I will take music. However, you will give me music. Beggars are not choosers.
Cool. All right. I don't remember what song I'm doing. Okay, cool. Well, I'm gonna go first and get it over with. Okay. I was gonna perform Scads of Licorice and read the lyrics of Creeps with Beautiful Faces, but now I'm changing my mind because of my vocal range thing that requires too much energy. All right, ready?
Okay, I'm giving you the whole screen.
Say what?
I'm giving you the whole screen for this.
Uh-oh. That's fine. Did a dream call from a billboard like a blank wall in a psych ward? Ward 8 doesn't mean that it's a jealous congressional cocktail. Go on, wrap me for a pillowcase. Go on, wrap me for a head case. Singing head voice, giddy headspace. It's a pretty place, a pretty place. Let the next one be something peppy. Let it come in a cloud of glitter. Let my paintbrush make something useful instead of creeps with beautiful faces. Instead of creeps with beautiful faces. All creeps within earshot. Eat your breakfast, don't neglect your papaya. Eat your breakfast, don't neglect your papaya. The end. Thank you.
I love that.
Thank you. Do you like Creeps with Beautiful Faces?
Yeah.
Thank you.
I do love it.
Thank you for the confidence.
I don't want to blow out my sound, but I'm clapping enthusiastically, quietly, so I don't blow out the mic.
Thank you, Angela. Thanks for the opportunity.
I always love your music. I always love your music, like 100%.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right, Mr. Not McAnally, but
Mr. Seann.
Right, Mr. Seann. I was trying to think of his cool rock name.
Yeah, this is one. This is the one that everybody always wants me to play, so I figured I'd do it.
An audience.
Yeah. All right.
What's an audience?
Thank you, Mrs. Hatfield. You were so much fun. Thank you, Mrs. Hatfield. You are the one who gave us drugs. Oh, you gave us drugs. Oh, you gave us drugs. Thank you, Mrs. Hatfield. You were the best. Thank you, Mrs. Hatfield, for giving us the cigarettes and drugs. Oh, you gave us drugs. Oh, you gave us drugs. I just heard about your husband. So what you doing tonight? I can never be what he was, but I can make you feel with PBR and crack cocaine. Did some damage to my brain. That's okay. Thank you, Mrs. Hatfield. You were a mess, but of all the moms in the neighborhood, you were the best. You gave us drugs. Oh, oh, you gave us drugs. Oh, oh, you gave us drugs. I'm so sorry about your husband, what you doing tonight. I'm so sorry about your husband, but I can make you feel alright. Let me take you out tonight. Alright. Alright. Alright.
You have to picture that all slathered in distortion. You usually don't play it on
The
acoustic
version.
Yeah.
Okay, you have to tell the story behind the song because I've been waiting all day. This was my suggestion. Hey, do Thank You, Mrs. Hatfield, but then you have to tell the story.
She wants there to be an awesome story.
I do.
So
You
some
know I do.
salacious story from my youth.
Like the lady down the street. That,
Yeah, like who is Mrs. Hatfield?
Yeah.
Well,
What's the deal?
I don't want to name any names,
Okay.
Besides Mrs.
But
Hatfield.
which unfortunately it did because it's a real name, you know.
It's a great name. It's a rock and roll name.
Oh, a friend of mine went to college, and there was this lady who would listen to his poems. And one of the original lines of the song was, "Thank you, Mrs. Hatfield. You could relate. You read all my shitty poems and found two you didn't hate."
I heard that in there.
Yeah.
I was like, what did they do? I couldn't understand it until you
But it
found
was-
two you didn't hate.
But I didn't. That line's been taken out just for space reasons. But no, she had a house near the campus. She was an older lady. She was married, but like her husband was never around, and she didn't so much give them drugs as let them do drugs in her home. And they all sort of liked her, you know. She was
a hot lady.
Yeah,
I'm just guessing.
Yeah, she was kind of, I guess, what they would call a MILF, you know. And so they would all have these fantasies that her husband would suffer some terrible accident, and they would finally have a shot with her. And so when my friend told me that story, he was playing in a band I was in at the time. He's a drummer. He told us the story. And that song just, pow, it just came out.
Oh, that's awesome.
Sometimes songs do that.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so that was it. And I've wondered since then in this song, which is kind of the fictional version of it, what did happen to her husband. And so I have several theories. Even I don't know, but I'm not so sure that the singer of the song didn't kill the husband and arrange for the accident. I also thought he could have been in the military and never came home. So
possibilities.
Yeah. So when I first sang the song,
I think he did it.
My father asked me, "Who's this Mrs. Hatfield character?" You know. And now, well, unfortunately, Dad, she didn't exist in our neighborhood.
Yeah, he was like, "Who was that?" He's thinking like of all the moms in the neighborhood.
Right.
Funny.
Yeah, so that's kind of the story behind that. I wish it were a better story. I wish there was
a good story.
That's a pretty dang good story.
I had some kind of torrid affair with as a young man.
Right, but she read somebody's poems. That's fabulous.
She did, and found two she didn't hate. That part was true.
That's
she told the guy, these two I don't hate.
But Angela and I are always talking about how, oh yeah, there's like this whole gigantic majority of the population that just doesn't care about poetry, you know? And we're like,
well, that's true.
Oh yeah. It was like we were talking about, well, I was at the DMV and my kid, yes, he did get his learner's permit. Congratulations.
Yay! Congratulations.
But he's like does not want to drive ever, but you know, he's doing this. And we were like messaging, and I was doing like the Kathleen Hanna quote about how when Kathleen Hanna from Bikini Kill wanted to change the world, she's like, I'm going to do it like at poetry readings. And her friend says, no, don't do poetry readings. Start a band and people will come. And I'm like, that's what she did. And they did. And then she married a Beastie Boy.
That's what I've been telling her. trying to get her to start a band.
Okay, this is have I told you this? I think Angela must know this story. I tried to start a band. This is what the Lord, it was like the time I tried to go to England to be a nanny and had cancer instead, right? Sometimes God is just like, that's not for you, because I have tried. And you know what? No, you're the first person who ever wanted to make music with me. So,
maybe it was just waiting for the right time, though. I'm just going to put
probably.
that.
You're probably right. I shouldn't be such a pessimist. I shouldn't be like, God slapping my hand away again. No, it's probably
dare to hope, Amy. Dare to hope the band can happen.
Yeah, I hadn't thought about it in so long since I tried to convert my book club of mothers into a rock band of mothers, and they were all like, oh yeah, because my enthusiasm is contagious. And then totally
that's why I'm here on having a show.
Yeah.
Amy's danged enthusiasm.
Well, I think one of the things I love about her music, though, is that she's developed it in relative isolation for a long time.
Not my choice, but yes.
I mean, she's not playing with other people. She's not influenced by the other people in the room. And so I think her music is really unique, and not just the words. And obviously she's a word girl, so they're going to be good words, but I can hear a lot of British invasion and her stuff, but also like medieval madrigals.
And some folksy kind of.
A lot of my rock and roll is very accessible. I mean, it's very straightforward, and I don't think it's too mysterious. And so that's why I'm drawn to her music and working with her. And so I'm going to somehow be the Phil Spector of her life, and except without the vicious beatings,
Nobody's gonna shoot you.
Right.
You're not gonna shoot anybody.
Right. But I guess I want to produce her. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I support this. I think the world needs more sparkly Amy in it.
Oh, thank you. Oh, I didn't even wear a tiara. What am I doing? Oh,
you got glasses. That's
okay.
like
This is rock and roll and etc. So I want to say what I like about Seann's music is that, okay, here's what I like about Seann as a musician, okay? And Angela knows how I love what I'm about going to say. Intensity of emotion, okay? And some of his songs are really sad, but there's guitars, badass guitars and drum beat and growling of lyrics. So it's it's sort of defiant against sadness and sort of just strength, strength and defiance, against the emotion that is painful. And so that's it's really sad, but cool, so that's kind of the beat, I think, So yeah, it's accessible. I love power pop because there is a puzzle in the Western mind that the pieces fit together in these hooks, and we're so happy when we hear it. You're just so there's it's almost like a solution to a problem when you hear it. You feel this solution, and so that combined with that other is really cool. So that's our recommendations of each other.
That's awesome. Well, I'm sold. I'm sold on both of you. I was already sold on Amy, to be fair, but
womp womp. What can I say, right, Angela? No, Angela is a treasure.
Well, I'm super excited for this song to come out, this rock opera, which you guys are like, well, it's just going to be a song. I'm like, well, that is
a long song.
Yeah. What is
operetta? A rock operetta.
My brain has gone completely blank. The mama just killed a man, Queen.
Oh yeah.
Totally. Bohemian Rhapsody. I don't know why I can't think of the name of that. But that's basic. That's what I'm picturing. Basically Bohemian Rhapsody. And look at how incredible that is.
That tall, but maybe
we didn't stack it that tall is a good way to put it. But but the way it has the different movements though, and the different styles, certainly. Yeah. I don't think we're gonna do that much overdubbing.
Oh yeah, I did not. Yeah, he was telling me each of them recorded all three parts of the harmony, so that it was just this big layered harmony. And I'm like, that makes absolute sense. I had no idea, but they have such a full wall of sound. If you're talking,
Yeah. I'm looking forward to hearing it too. And like I said, we're going to work on it tonight after we're done with it. If we don't talk,
sometimes we talk too much.
We talk too much.
Skilled talkers. Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of think of that as like pre-creating.
Yeah. What could grow out of that?
Yeah.
Angela knows we talk a lot.
We do. We have to meet a half an hour before each show, unless Angela has the time wrong, and hash things out.
Yeah, our poetry shows when we first started during the pandemic and nobody had anything else to do anyway, they would be 2 hours long sometimes just because we were like banter.
Yeah, and then we'd be ending it going, well, there's still more things to say, but I guess save it for next month.
I should go make dinner. Yeah.
It's dark now.
Yep.
Well, where is this going to be something we can hear? Like when you guys are done, where are you going to unveil it? Where are you going to present it?
I don't know. We'll probably just have to make our own band camp.
Yep.
You know.
Yeah. I invite you here. I mean, to unveil it if you ever want to. I'm just saying.
Ooh. We have a fan already.
Right. Yes. If it's possible to do, because I don't want to do too many overdubs, but I want her to play organ on a lot of it.
Oh, yeah.
She won't be able to play unless she can play organ with her feet, like Geddy Lee, you know.
Yeah.
We'll probably have to do some overdubs. But I have seen a lot of performers, they'll tape a lot of it and then play their guitars.
Yeah.
We could maybe do that.
Yeah, or we could even just do an unveiling, maybe make a video to it.
Yeah.
Ooh. And then just play the whole thing.
It could get real big real quick.
Get real big real quick.
We need to find somebody who's willing to run distraughtly through the middle of the night in a torn up nightgown, bloody feet.
That's literally my dream, except I'm in Brazil right now.
I was gonna say, if you're ever here, there used to be a field right next to my house, and they are now like paved, like as of a couple of months ago. They're like leveling it and paving it and making it into warehouses. So
oh man.
So
I'll tell you what, if you need that footage, we've got a long, creepy road right outside of our gate that nobody's ever on. I will video that.
Okay.
And give it to you. I'm not a very good runner, but
candelabra, white nightgown, and we'll just speed you up or do it in slow motion. And that way it doesn't matter how fast. Exactly.
I am so excited about this. Okay. I did not actually know about this rock opera. I knew you guys were working on stuff, but I didn't know what it was. But I am like, no pressure. But I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to see the Bohemian Rhapsody be created on the ground floor. This is amazing.
About a Gothic novel heroine, tragedy and freak out and insanity and a ghost portrait.
Better.
Yeah, it's going to kick ass, Angela.
That's awesome. You should have tryouts. Like that's what you guys should do video tryouts of people who want to be in your video, and they all have to film them running down the dark road screaming.
The whole video. It's just different running.
Right.
Different roads, different people. Could be guys. We don't want to be
like with the lipstick portraits, right?
Yeah, guys in nightgowns running down the dark road.
Yeah, they could be the insane guy. What, did we ever name him? I don't know if he needs a name. Did you say Viscount? That's happening.
I apologize, Sean. This is how so much trouble happens. As we get on one of these shows, we start talking. We feel obligated now because we have vocalized the things.
Right.
That's right. Now it's out loud. People have heard it. Now we got to do it. There's a Viscount.
Yeah, those videos are being made right now. People are like,
they're sending
what nightgown do I have?
They're landing in your inbox. Can't wait.
Exactly. All right. Well, anyways, back to the questions and out of my fantasy world. One of the things I wanted to talk about, and this is something that's always fascinated me about Amy. Now I have two of you here. What is it like to put poetry, because music is basically poetry set to music. That's a song. In my perspective, that's how I think of it. What is the different way to work like that? Because when I write a poem, I hear the rhythm and everything in my head, but then the idea of like putting music to that is kind of like a whole next level concept to me.
Mm-hmm. Okay, why
as
don't
a
you
non-musician.
Tell your process, Sean, and we'll see what he says.
Number of our process, I don't write poetry.
Mm-hmm.
I write song lyrics.
Contrast. Okay.
Yeah, and I don't know how you would write poems and put them into song lyrics. I've thought a little bit about how I think they're different, and I know some poetry rhymes, but it sure doesn't have to.
Mm-mm.
I have a writers club in a grade school, and it's the first thing I tell them. I always say, poetry is the rebel. Poetry doesn't follow the rules. Poetry does whatever it wants,
I like this guy.
And song lyrics don't necessarily have to rhyme. I've heard it done effectively where they don't. My friend Zach writes a lot of songs where the words don't quite rhyme, but I think the human ear kind of wants song lyrics to rhyme.
Yep.
And so that's the biggest difference I can think of. Also in song lyrics, you can go, all right, like 4 times. And I guess in a poem, you could write the word, all right. And just things like, oh, you can do, there's a lot of like nonverbal, sounds you can make in songs that do kind of count as the lyrics, but
if it's not there, you're going to miss it.
I don't know that a lot of my songs would stand up just if you were to read the lyrics, like in a poetry reading. I used to do this joke thing where I would read Kiss lyrics really seriously as if it was a poetry reading, and I won't do them right now, but they're pretty ridiculous, And I actually recorded a whole thing of it, a Kiss poetry reading in different voices.
Oh.
Yeah. But
that could go on the podcast.
But she had some of mine that she said were more poetic, than others, and I just took her word for it,
right?
Because she's a poet. But for me, I'll usually get a snippet of like a phrase, and it'll just go from there. But for me, sometimes the meaning is secondary to the syllables and the vowel sounds. And if the meaning works out, great. But I have traded the perfect word for the perfect number of syllables before. Haven't always been able to use the perfect word I wanted.
Yeah.
And I also I think a lot of poetry can be obscure. I'm no expert on poetry, or clever and obscure. And there's a certain fun to maybe figuring out what the poet meant per se. But in these songs anyway, the Johnny Farrow songs, I don't want it to be obscure. I want everybody to know exactly, what it means. I want it to be accessible and something anyone could relate to. I write a lot of breakup songs. At first, I was like, man, I write a lot of breakup songs. But then if you listen to pop radio, it's like 85% breakup songs.
People need that, they need that to hang on to. Like, I'm not the only one.
Everybody's been through that.
That one song you have where it's like everyone. I was listening to it when I was like,
everyone's got a broken heart.
That's the one.
Everyone's been torn apart.
Yeah. It's called, what's it called again?
No More Songs About
right.
You.
No More Songs About You.
Right. Yeah.
That's a great title.
Yeah. It's kind of like You're So Vain. It's its own punchline.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I honestly don't put a lot of thought into it. A lot of it's very intuitive, and I do it very fast because I'm very results oriented. Usually when I don't mull a song over very long. I'll sit down, write it. All right, we're getting this done right now. And I'll get the music recorded, and then I'll just write the lyrics. So sometimes they're not always perfect. I have some songs I don't really like the lyrics, but I wanted to get it done that day. And I always think, well, I'll go back and change them or fix them later. And then I never do.
Yeah.
So I don't care as much about the lyrics as a poet would. I think I like poetry, but I don't know a lot of it, And the stuff I do like is older stuff that I learned in school, So she's really the only modern poet I know or know of their work. and
awesome.
So, yeah, but in terms of how you would take a poem and turn it into a song. This is your girl right here to talk to about that.
Yeah, and you know what? I don't know that I'm trying to think if I've ever done that. I know I've thought about doing that, but I approach songwriting a little differently than poetry writing. But I don't know how other songwriters I don't know if you words then tune or if you do the word. I do the words and fit the tune to it because of poetry. But I will definitely prioritize rhyming in songwriting because, like you said, it's this thing that's pleasing to the ear to have not just the 1, 4, 5, 7 or whatever, chord progressions that make us happy in our ears, but also the rhymes do the same thing or fit with that. And so I like to rhyme a lot more in songwriting because it makes my ears happy. And I don't always rhyme in poetry, but sometimes I do. I mean, gosh, I like the poets that I really got hooked on when I was like Edgar Allan Poe when I was like really young. But then when I was in high school, it was the Romantic poets, and they just shamelessly, it wasn't poetry if it didn't rhyme, and it rhymed like a song. It was lyrical and just like made me go breathless and collapse on the bed and stuff, and so I wanted to make other people feel that way. And I guess, I don't know, that's what the British invasion people always say. They're like, well, I heard the Everly Brothers and I wanted to make people feel that way. I don't know if I just wanted to spend time doing that, I think is more what it was. I want to make those rhymes and turn myself on, kind of, I don't know. But it's different, but I almost never start with the tune. I always start with what the story is I want to tell. Or like you said, and like I know Angela knows this too, like there is a phrase, like the last podcast I did was called, the song was To Shreds You Say, which is a hilarious line from Futurama that for years. And it was like one day last week, I was like, or whatever, a couple of weeks ago, I was like, well, I gotta make a song about it. And then it was so easy to do because I did it in such a, like you said, like it was a punk sort of easy way, but it was now it exists, so huzzah.
That's
I
awesome.
don't know if I answered the question, but that's some stuff.
No, that did. And the thing that I think is interesting that you both tied on, because you have two completely different ways of approaching creative, whatever the thing is that we're creating. But I know that you both kind of mentioned you hit upon like, well, I just know Amy does this. I'm sorry, Amy. I don't think you actually said this, but I know you do this where you get stuck on a phrase or something and you just start spinning off of that. I'm thinking
tragic eyebrows number 6.
tragic eyebrows, cake and hyperbole, mausoleum cake.
Mausoleum cake. Yeah.
So I don't know how I think that you do that, Amy, but when you said that, Seann, that's kind of what it reminded me of.
Right.
That's something similar that in the process of the way we all work is get that phrase, that little bit of word salad that you cannot get rid of.
Yeah. That really always is the inspiration, is the phrase.
Mm-hmm.
And then I do fit the words to the tune, but the phrase comes first, and the phrase usually comes with a tune. It's already like pre-made that way. I don't know why the subconscious works that way. But it does.
It does.
And
just kind of like falls into a tune.
The weirdest times it'll hit you.
Mm-hmm.
I work at a school. I was doing like car rider duty in the morning, like watching the angry. Well, people can get angry in a car rider line sometimes, right? It takes forever.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm sitting out there, and it's in my head. I heard the song "Get You Back." I heard it. And it just popped. Where did that come from? I don't know. The
muses were telling you. I'm going to do a podcast about this soon, about the muses and then being drunk on that stuff. And I think I have stuff in my pocket that I wrote at the library today. That part of it is for the Gothic heroine thing, and then there's a thing that's next week. But
oh, that's awesome. See, what is it about all of us and our stacks of paper that we always have? Whoops, there's all my notes.
We have scrap paper for people who want to make a note, on something. If we want to write down a call number for them, and I just use them and put them in my pocket. And
I've written it on my arm before or something when I didn't have a piece of paper.
Oh my gosh.
And sometimes it's phrases other people say. I actually I don't always write songs about that, but when someone else says a phrase I think sounds cool, I usually write it down. Someone else the other day said mean pink to describe a color. I said, that sounds like a great name for like a girl band or something, right?
Yeah.
So I wrote down mean pink, and I love collecting little phrases like that and cool things people say.
Yeah. Yes. Same.
Well,
we have a lot of that exchange in our messaging where we're like, oh yeah, that should be a song.
That should be a song. Oh,
yeah, exactly. Yeah, do a song about that. Yeah, do the.
That's hilarious.
What is the dumpster tuna? Yeah, do the dumpster tuna song. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, that's a long story, but
it's good.
Dumpster tuna would be an example.
I requested that to be a song.
Yeah.
Dumpster tuna. Okay.
Well, my son used to dumpster dive outside a Price Chopper because he said that if the can is dented but the food's still good, that they have to throw it away. And so he made this. So my son made this like tuna and macaroni and cheese one night,
which is good.
And about halfway through, I said, "Wait a minute, is this dumpster tuna? Are you feeding father dumpster tuna?" He's like, "It's perfectly fine." You know,
the young, they know they're never gonna die.
Yeah, I don't know if I would be opposed to eating dumpster tuna if the can is sealed. I'm just gonna say that. I will put that out there.
Okay, if it was sealed,
it was sealed.
All right.
Yeah,
was it dented?
Yeah.
Well, you guys are awesome. I'm like, what? Is it already 45 minutes?
Gosh, is it?
Yeah.
I didn't know how long we had. Well, anyway, we were just going to talk. Oh, hey, you got to let him read the lyrics to Bruises.
What?
Yes. That's what I was going to say is like what we also want to know where we can find you guys and all that. So read that. And then, yes, we need to know where to find you. And also, when do we get this rock opera?
6 months.
Yeah, let's see 6 months. Yeah. Oh, we have September birthdays. We could shoot for the September birthdays.
Yeah, we both have September birthdays.
Everybody has September birthdays.
Yeah. It's always better to, what was it? What's the phrase? Under promise and over deliver. Or
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, like when they tell you your package is coming in 4 days and it comes in 2 or whatever.
And then you're happy.
Yeah.
But she said this song was poetic, and I never thought of it that way. But
read it as a poem. Yeah.
Okay, except I won't do the repeated choruses, because a poem wouldn't do that probably.
Chorus.
Yeah.
Bridge chorus.
But oh no, the bruises have got to go. Don't you let them show. Oh no, the bruises have got to go. Don't you let them know. You're too old to live, but you're too young to die. Caught up in your own eyes. You're living your life on the roll of the dice. Never want to know why, because you believe your own lies. You're too young to quit, but you're too old to rock, racing with the alarm clock. You realize with a shock you're only one of the flock. You clean up your dreams with a dirty old sock. You're licking your wounds while you're watching them fester. Your soul is molested. Are you a knight on a quest? Are you a thief or a jester? Your life has been tested and your heart is arrested. Oh no, the bruises have got to go. Don't you let them show. Oh no, the bruises have got to go. Don't you let them know.
Mm-hmm. See, I told you it's poetry.
Well,
I like it.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Wow. You guys are both awesome. I already knew Amy was awesome. So that's kind of like a given. But Seann, you are awesome. I declare one of us, one of the kooky poetry people.
Yeah, I want to be one of us.
Yep.
One of us.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, I think you're awesome too. I've watched quite a few of your videos, and not just the ones with her in them. I've watched You Can Be a Poet, or what was that one? Like anyone can write a poem.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And so, yeah, I think it's cool that you've won Stoker Awards. And so thanks for having me here. Except before we go, I think that you should also read something.
I brought Scads of Licorice. Okay.
Yes.
Let me put on my glasses.
More like there's a song, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
This was a song. This is like episode 2 of my podcast, I think. Okay. Scads of Licorice, if you want more, podcast in A minor. Episode 2, I think. Last night, named Wealth, bought Scads of Licorice from IKEA. I swear I heard a storm of owls singing outside my bathroom window. Are the owls what they seem? Because back in Missouri, they seemed so shy. Last night, pretended riches. Now I'm swimming in Swedish candy all night. So tell me tales of haunted forests down by the fire. I remember that Danish stove, how it warmed and glowed. It made me so kind. Last night, abandoned reason to be a poet in Colorado. Not the bravest nor the cutest, but alive. Oh man, I'm alive. Times 3.
That is awesome.
Thank you.
I'm going to say this was one of the harder shows that I've done.
Yeah.
Because it was so interesting that I have been completely off track. I know there was a lot of things I wanted to talk about before this, but I've been lost in rock opera land and other places. So.
Well, we're bombastic rock stars, and we talked about what we wanted to talk about.
Hey, I'm there for it. Like I said, I like to just wander along where the conversation is going.
Nice. That's fun talk.
I have a proposal. You guys do not have to accept this. But the September 2nd show of this show is free. If you guys want to take that spot, I will write your names in now.
God,
and you can possibly unveil your rock opera at that point.
I'm sure we'll have something to unveil. We'll have something.
We could at least do a sneak preview by then.
Right. Yeah, or even just a checkup. Like, so it's not like a pressure thing. It could just be a checkup of, hey, how's that going?
I actually work better under deadlines anyway.
Deadlines do give you something to fight. So that's good. Okay, I'm going to put September 2nd.
I'm going to be writing that down.
Okay, Angela's show.
So, well, the first Saturday is always Amy and Angela's show anyway.
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh, is that our Saturday?
Yeah, that's our poetry Saturday. Just happens to be. I went and looked while you guys were talking about September.
Oh, cool.
It's open.
Okay, that's our first Saturday. I'm going to put that so I know that I don't have to do something else besides. Oh my God, there's going to be so much poetry. Okay. All right, cool. All right, yes, it's in my notes anyway. I will see them.
We might just be able to pull this off. I work at a school. I have the hours of a 9-year-old. I'm not working most of the summer, so you never know.
All right, yeah, I know, and I work part-time.
Yeah, so I don't want to put any pressure on you guys, but I do want to put pressure on you guys because I really want to hear this. Selfishly, I'm saying, just being selfish over here, I'll admit it.
Well, like me with the hallucinated jungle poems that you're working on, I can't wait. But yeah, I think that's reasonable. I mean, I think like he is like this immediate songwriter. I am a somewhat immediate songwriter. I mean, some songs I won't finish for years because I will have written like half of a verse and then find it, and then it all falls together that day or whatever. So, but we are capable of immediacy, or at least, we can work with that, I think.
Awesome. Yeah. Awesome. All right. Well, that's everybody put that on your calendars because we have that to look forward to. I want you guys now, before we go, tell me where we can find each of you. Like, I know we do kind of know where to find Amy because we see her once a month minimum. Yeah. But tell us again, because also you don't really share your podcast in A minor that much here. So I want to link to it in the description. And
okay.
So, yeah, tell us all the stuff. This is promo time.
All right. I do podcast in A minor, and I sometimes post things. I used to post a lot more to Instagram. I've been sort of doing a lot more with poetry and songwriting than visual art lately. So, but that's at hypnus_and_outrage, at hypnus and outrage, but with underscores in between. And then there's that YouTube that's also hypnus and outrage without underscores. And so that I haven't been doing very much, but I'm thinking of putting some of the songs up that I've done later that are on the podcast. So that's pretty much it. Besides here, at exercise, it keeps changing. The name taking hyperbole. No, what was it before?
I was filling the ink. Yeah, and then I just decided to be simple and call it this. Exercise your rights.
Exercise your rights with a W. Yeah.
Yeah.
First Saturday. It's me and Angela. Yeah.
I love the name Hyperbole so much. When I first saw it, we have a superhero role playing game we play. We named a villain Hyperbully. And that's where I got the idea.
That's awesome.
Did you tell all your places?
That's all my places.
Okay. Well, the best place to find music for me is minutewax.bandcamp.com. Minutewax.bandcamp.com. That's not just got my stuff, but stuff from some of my friends too. I consider it like a toy record label,
Okay.
And so there's any of the Johnny Farrow stuff up there is me, and the Whitechapel 5, which is a fake British invasion band, and then the ambient stuff's at brightonstreetghosts.bandcamp.com, and my writing's at Nerd Glows On. Like a glowing nerd, glowing on forever.
We love to glow as nerds.
Nerdglowson.com is where my writing is. And then I would be remiss if I did not mention Goonies World podcast, where we do a live actual play tabletop role-playing games. And that's GooniesWorldPodcast.com.
Yeah, I just listened to a 5-part vampire one while I was doing the dishes, like over the course of a week or something, called Exfanguination. Was really good. What was the one I listened to on the train where I was laughing out loud?
That was You Son of a Bitch, I'm In.
Oh God, it's funny.
Crime caper one.
It's so funny. They do all the voices, and Seann does like a Valley girl, not really a Valley girl, but like an 80s girl, Becca. And I'm on the train being like, ah! And I'm next to my husband, and he's like, what? And I'm like, I want to do a funny podcast. It's just crazy. It was fun.
But thank you very much for thinking, to have me on.
Oh, absolutely. We are always looking for new voices, new people, new faces, because it's inspiring. Like, we all get inspired from each other. We always get crazy ideas from Tragic Eyebrows, case in point.
From our friend Rena. Yeah. Rena loves that we got hung up on that. They're like, I love that you just this little and they're Russian and write so beautifully in English. I know I go on, but it's very inspiring. So
yeah, and that's actually one of my guilty things. I always think, I never wrote that Tragic Eyebrows. I'll be on my deathbed and I'll be like, wait, I still have to write about Tragic Eyebrows.
And your David Bowie poem for Art Wraiths, which ended up being all me, and now I look crazy because I'm the only one who would write poems about musicians. I'm like, hey guys, let's all do this, and they're like, yeah.
That's like the book club girls band.
That's like my band. And see, the Lord is just like, sorry, girl, it's just you.
You got to strike out on your own with this. Oh, awesome. I'm going to get all the links from you guys, and they will be in the description of this show. So anything you heard on here that you're interested in, I just downloaded Seann's, I can't remember the title of it, but the
role-playing game,
British Invasion role-playing game.
Beat.
Yeah, Beats. So I
used to call them beat groups.
Yeah, beat groups.
Yeah. Yep.
Thrilling
I'm actually
beats
going to crack that open and have a look at it tonight.
Yeah.
So, wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah. So thank you, both of you, for being on the show. And gosh, it's been a pleasure. And like, when I lose track of what I'm supposed to say, because I am so fascinated with the idea of something you're creating, that is the ultimate goal of this.
Thank you for having us, Angela. I love your work.
Always. And we are actually in a nod to like old days. I don't want to say old days because that sounds like we're old, but no. But I'm going to play Cake and Hyperbole, the theme song that Amy created that still replays in my head on an odd shower or keeps me up at night.
Somebody's going to kill me one day because of these songs. The third Sunday poetry in this one every month.
Okay. Just get stuck. So thank you, everybody. See you next Saturday with, isn't it you? Aren't you with Colleen next Saturday? Colleen Anderson.
Who, me?
Yeah. Is it?
I will be if you want. I don't know.
I don't know what's on next Saturday at this exact moment, because that would require me to have been more. Yeah, it is. It is you. Saturday. Yeah, next show is April 1st. Colleen Anderson, president of Science Fiction Poetry Association, and Amy Zoellers.
Oh my gosh! Do I have to prepare anything? Okay, tell me what to do, and I'll do it.
It's the usual lack of preparation.
I'll just sit and go while she says smart things.
This is my ultimate secret to why the show is so relaxed, because I couldn't handle a show that wasn't relaxed.
Yeah. Oh, I feel so sad for people who are wound up and just killing it.
Oh, I mean, it's for the guests, so they'll relax. Exactly.
That's right.
So, all right, that's next show. I will see you on Saturday for that. Thank you, Seann. Don't forget the rock opera. It must happen. Find Seann below in the links. And now we will close on a little Cake and Hyperbole.
I'm ready to dance.
Cake